Hey, Alvarado here. I haven't done a video in a while. We have a real situation coming up pretty damn soon here, and I'm surprised that nobody's been talking about this, but the 2020 election, oh my God. Right now we have a bunch of the so-called blue states who are deciding that they are not going to put Trump on the 2020 ballot because he hasn't shown his tax returns, which of course is such an important distraction. I mean, issue. Not a distraction at all. Of course, it's an issue. Just like the so-called Russian collusion nonsense was such an issue. It really happened. I swear it did. Really, there was Russian collusion. The Russians are coming, man. It's 1957 all over again. The Russians are coming. They're the ones that are responsible for Trump losing. Anyways, so we have states who are deciding not to put Trump on the 2020 presidential ballot. Not only do we have states doing that, but we also have states who are not going to participate. I think now it's 15 states in the union. The union, we're using that term really loosely here, the union, because there is no union anymore. I'm surprised this country's been able to hold together as long as it has, to be quite honest. If you've ever traveled around the country, you'll know why. Because everywhere you go, everything is different. For every state I go to, it's something different. Different mentalities, different lifestyles, different values, etc. Anyways, so we have 15 states right now, and I believe Nevada was the latest one to do this. They are not going to follow the electoral process. In fact, they're going to give their votes to whoever the popular vote winner is. And you know, direct democracy is so common in the world. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's not. It's all representative democracies, whatever that is. So what we have here is a situation where you're going to have states deciding that they're not going to follow the Constitution. They're not going to put Trump on the ballot. Okay, so I guess you have to write him in or something. Don't get excited either. I'm not any sort of big, huge Trump supporter or anything like that. I'm definitely not a Hillary supporter. And I don't really believe that we have any freaking options, to be quite honest, okay? I believe that, and I mean, you know, whatever, you can do your research yourself, but I really don't believe that there is such thing as any sort of democracy or a republic or any of that. I think we're controlled by corporations at this point completely. And the corporations are the one who dictate what happens in the world of so-called politics and wars and trade and everything else. Not us. Not the citizenry, not even the Senate or the House or any of that. None of it is decided by people anymore. It's decided by the oligarchs, the very wealthy corporations that are running the entire show for their own benefit and their own benefit only. Even all that stuff about climate change, global warming, or global ice age, or whatever it is also part of the whole big deal. It's another way, a system of control. And even if the world is ending, they don't care. That's what people don't understand. They don't care. As long as they can suck money out of the earth to the last minute, they're happy. So anyway, so we have two situations here. We have states that are not going to include Trump on the ballot. We have states who are not going to follow the electoral process. So what's going to happen? Let me tell you what's going to happen. Anybody with half a brain should be already aware of this, but I did a search on YouTube and I couldn't find any videos that talked about this aspect. We are going to see in 2020, in my view, from what I'm reading, what they're going to call a constitutional crisis, okay? And no matter who wins, whether Trump wins or whoever one of the 50,000 Democratic candidates wins the vote, nobody is going to be satisfied with the results. We're going to see this country descend into freaking chaos. At least, not necessarily where I live. You know, I live in a medium-sized town, you know, here in Texas. You know, when we talk about the big cities, Washington, D.C., when we're talking about Houston, Texas, where I'm here, or we talk about Austin, Texas, or we talk about New York City or Washington, D.C. or Portland, Oregon or Los Angeles, California, or we talk about Seattle, Washington, we are going to see chaos, okay? We're going to see straight up chaos because nobody's going to accept this vote, this election. No one is going to accept it because of these discrepancies that these states have intentionally put in the way of our electoral process, okay? We're going to see it. I'm surprised this has not been something that's been coming out in the mainstream, but of course I'm not really surprised that this is not coming out in the mainstream. Even when I did the search on YouTube, I mean, it's page after page of Trump is causing a constitutional crisis. What? Huh? Put the blame on the man. He's just a figurehead anyways. He means nothing, no more than Obama did, or Baby Bush, or freaking Clinton, or the other big senior Bush, the dead one, or any of them. Figureheads for corporate structure, man. And it's been going on for a long time. This is not new. Oh, how surprising. Okay, oh, I'm shocked. Wow, really? The democratic process, supposed representative democracy in the United States has been dead a long time. We're getting who has been chosen by the corporations. It's like Obama. That's why he passed the Affordable Care Act. It was in the pockets of the insurance companies and the pharmaceutical companies. It's not a shocker. Do the research. Anyways, my advice, if anybody cares, my advice, be ready for serious chaos in 2020. It could be the end of this country for all we know. This could be the final, the coup de grace of this country as far as being any sort of powerhouse in the world. Or it could be a way to bring in the supposed called, what do they call it, the New World Order, or one world government, or whatever you want to call it. The United States could fall into chaos. UN arrives to save the day with their so-called peacekeepers. I mean, the scenarios are endless. FEMA could be put into place to put in, martial law. You don't know that. We don't know what's going to happen. But no one's talking about it. They're not going, hey man, look at these states defying the Constitution, altering the election so that they get the outcome that they want, which is what they're basically doing. They weren't happy because the popular vote supposedly went to Hillary, even though Trump won almost 3,000 counties and Hillary won almost 300. But because it didn't go the way they wanted, they're going to alter the entire rules of the game to ensure that whoever they've decided will be the new figurehead will be the new figurehead. And that's what we're looking at. My advice, if you live in a big city especially, get the hell out of the big cities when the election comes. If you live somewhere like I do, or you live out in the country, water. Number one, water. Food. A little bit of a backup of food. Be prepared for power outages. You don't know what's going to happen in the big cities. Be armed. Make sure you have weaponry. Something to protect yourself. It's going to be an excuse for people to act like the animals that they are. That they barely can keep in check right now. With the loss of empathy and the incredible separation between reality that's occurring because of these freaking cell phones and internet and everything. Everybody has lost their humanity, essentially. Not everybody, of course, I'm generalizing this, but that's why you're seeing these horrific crimes that are occurring where you have people beating people they don't know and pushing people off buses and stabbing people they don't know and throwing little kids off the third floor of a mall or whatever. All these types of crimes are things that crime is nothing new, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying there seems to be a real loss of empathy between human beings at this point in our history. And it's not just something that's that's relegated to the United States, but throughout the world it seems that people have lost any sort of connection with each other that is a real, rather than through a screen like what I'm doing actually right now, because I'm communicating to the tiny amount of people that will ever watch this video. So anyways, my advice at this point is expect some bad shit to happen in 2020. Be prepared. Have a backup, maybe a solar powered charging panel for your cell phones, for your devices that you think are essential. Make sure you have batteries so you can listen to the radio, if the grid goes down. Again, I'm not telling people to panic. This is not Y2K nonsense. I'm just saying that these are possibilities that could occur if we have this, what I'm imagining to be a very serious constitutional crisis. It's going to be very similar to what happened in some ways to the 2000 election, where, you know, it was decided by the, you know, ultimately decided by the Supreme Court, and we were in a state of chaos all that time, from the time of the elections until finally the Supreme Court decided that, well, baby Bush won. Not that, you know, not that Gore would have been any better. Of course, he was pure garbage. But, you know, so anyways, am I some sort of seer? No. I'm only going by what I'm reading and what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, and judging by human nature, and looking at the left right now and looking at the right now, which, I mean, I don't even know where you fit in anymore. I mean, I don't know where I fit in. You know, the irony, of course, being that I used to be what I would have considered liberal 20 years ago. Now I'm not even considered a liberal, even though I was a liberal 20 years ago. That the left has moved the freaking goalpost so far over that I can't call myself any sort of liberal or leftist at this point, and I really don't fit in completely with the far right either. So I'm kind of in the middle of the show as usual, just watching the show go on, going, well, what the hell do we do? Except, you know, just live your life as best you can, etc., etc., you know. But as far as what could possibly happen in 2020, I'm saying we definitely need to be aware that things could get really bad. If you watched this far, thank you so much. That's really all I have to say today. I haven't put the video in a while. I've been working on a book, working my job, that kind of thing. Anyways, guys, so my warning is, get ready for some crap. 2020 election is going to be a constitutional crisis. It is going to be, in my opinion, a chaotic time in this country that could lead to further breakdown of whatever unity we supposedly have. And that's my warning for 2020. Thank you for watching. This is Alvarado. Have a wonderful day. See you on the flip side. Bye-bye.